We're making great progress. Now it's time to be firmly on the earth and yet to see our heavenly home above us. In the summer of 1976, west central Minnesota had a terrible drought. Our dairy farm had virtually no rain for over 2 months in June through August. The earth cracked open in jagged lines looking like a lightning strike that had grounded itself. Some days we would see clouds come, but we'd say, "It won't rain." And for a long time we were right. We wondered if it would ever rain again. My personal rain gauge was empty, and I needed filling. Have you wondered whether heaven has forgotten to rain on you? Maybe it's been a drought for you lately. You've stood under heaven, looking, waiting, and praying that the rain you need would come. You have this feeling that maybe heaven has forgotten how to bring that rain cloud over you. Nothing makes us ready for the fourth petition of the Lord's Prayer like standing under an empty heaven, wondering if the rain's ever going to come. Our daily bread is the rain that God measures over us in His way and time. We pray that He would send enough, at least for today. In our diagram of the prayer, we're in the middle ground now. In our journey through the prayer, we see that we're always connected with heaven. Daily bread is the rain from heaven that sometimes we wait for, standing in a dry yard looking up. Bread binds us to heaven as much as singing in heaven's choir and taking our Father's hand. The waiting for daily bread, and yet being sure that there's bread coming, fits with the context of the Lord's Prayer in Luke 11, verses 5 through 8. After Jesus finishes the prayer, He tells the parable of the friend at midnight, the man who pounds on the friend's door asking for bread. The friend at first says he can't get up to give anything, but the man continues pounding. It's because of his shameless asking that the friend finally gets up and gives all that's needed. The argument from inside the house is not, "I don't have any bread." The point is to ask until it comes to you. And so Jesus tells this prayer and parable to conclude, "And I tell you, ask and it will be given to you. Seek and you will find. Knock and it will be open to you." There's bread and more in those heavenly clouds. We can see the streaks of rain coming down already in the promises God makes about prayer. I know that this promise doesn't answer the question of why we're dry and hungry now. Why doesn't God bring the flood of gifts right now? I don't know the full answer to that, but I have a question for this question. Why would God allow His own Son to be hungry, to be thirsty? Why would He endure 40 days without food and be truly hungry? Let the tempter answer that one first. What can the tempter say? "I don't know." Well, that leaves him no better than I am. Because he'd get something for it? He's God. What will hunger bring him? The answer that Satan will not say is this: the reason Jesus went hungry had something to do with me. Satan can't say, "He loves you." But God does love you, and this love left Him hungry. It's this love that sent Him from the clouds in the first place. It's this hungry love that made Him feed that crowd of 5,000. Perhaps in heaven the timing of the droughts of our lives will all come clear as we see them from the clouds of heaven. But for now there's this: He went hungry too. He was thirsty to death. The ground cracked open and took Him in. He did it because He loves us. So we can pray, "Rain this day our daily bread." Let us never forget the heaven from where it comes and the hand that brings it here. Give us patience when the sky is empty. Give us thanks when the showers fall. The fourth petition plants our feet on earth, but brings our words and hopes to heaven. Though this petition seems the simplest, asking only for bread, it reminds us of the deepest mystery. God becomes man, and the Father leaves His Son hungry. When our bread is delayed, remember His hunger. When our bread comes, remember His love. The showers will come in His time. from the drought to the flood. Those clouds we were watching while waiting for daily bread, those clouds have opened up with a flood of forgiveness for us all. Have you ever been in a flood? In June 1997, our house flooded. A week of rain was capped off by 6 inches overnight. Our street was overwhelmed, and soon water circled several houses, including ours. The water covered the bottom of the basement windows, and our house became a complete island. In the basement, there was a foot of water and rising. The fire department brought in a gas-powered pump, sailing it up the street with a red canoe. The pump's discharge hose snaked its way up the basement steps, through the garage, and was propped up in the yard where it shot brown water back into the flood. In the 5th petition, we come to God's flood. We're soaked in God's forgiveness. Forgiveness pours out on us beyond any reasonable measure. It's a perfect flood that covers us and overwhelms the boundaries we have between ourselves. It comes with such abundance that our neighbors can have any amount they want from us. In our other petitions, we wait for some aspect of the prayer to be fully done. But there's no waiting here. Here is forgiveness lapping at our doorstep and creeping up on our windows. Every morning, the first sound we hear could be the splashing of forgiveness against our house. Forgiveness wants to cover us like a 6-inch rain, a rain that covers both us and our neighbors. In a flood, property lines mean very little. The water doesn't care where my grass starts and my neighbor's ends. On the day of the flood, the little girls next door blew up their pink air mattress and went sailing through the neighborhood. They sailed right over our garden. But nobody worried about trespassing. We were in a flood. In the flood of forgiveness, there's no worrying about trespassing either. We probably can trace every step made by the many who've trespassed on us. That's the thing about most sins. They leave a mark behind, and we've left our own trail of prints behind in homes and lives. But forgiveness is a covering, washing flood. David cries for this cleansing in Psalm 51, verses 2 and 7. Wash me thoroughly from my iniquity and cleanse me from my sin. Purge me with hyssop, and I shall be clean. Wash me, and I shall be whiter than snow. Under the water of forgiveness, there's no record left of our tracks. Forgiveness not only covers our tracks, but also covers our neighbors. Forgiving your neighbor's trespasses is much easier when a flood covers both of your properties. Who can tell where anyone has been? When the forgiveness of God sweeps over us, how can any of us see clearly the trespasses of our neighbor? They're lost somewhere beneath the water of our baptisms. The washing blood of Christ is not crystal clear, but is blessedly opaque. We can't see through this blood as it covers the trespasses of the world. It's enough to know that the trespasses are lost beneath it. The washing of forgiveness finally lets us say, what trespasses? They were here, but I just can't see them anymore. The 5th petition has that effect on us. The flood of forgiveness has settled over us. We ask for the Father to forgive us, exactly what He's already done. Listen to the water of forgiveness lapping against you and your house already. Our neighbors opened his door and asked us to send some of his forgiveness his way. We've got plenty, and as we give it to him, more comes our way. There's no waiting, and there's no lack. We're in the flood of forgiveness. Well, we've come through the flood of forgiveness, but the water is still deep. Picture a water park with a wave pool. The wave machine is shut off and the water's calm. Children are walking into the water, climbing onto inner tubes. Imagine a little girl paddling out on her pink raft and thinking, "This is great." But then the horn sounds and the waves come. The pool begins heaving with 2-3 foot waves. That pink air mattress isn't going to last. In the sixth petition of the Lord's Prayer, the water surrounding us has reached new depths. We've gotten the shower of daily bread and then the flood of forgiveness. All that's very good. But now let's think of a new water, a new depth, and a new need in our prayer. Waves can carry us too far if we're not careful. We can be swept away and go under. We need a Father when the waves come. When we're tumbling in the surf, when we're in the center of a kaleidoscope of sky, water, and beach, then we need a strong hand to catch us. We need a dad who somehow stands only knee-deep in this surf. He plucks us up and says, "That's far enough." We pray in the sixth petition for our Father to catch us. We're tempted to blindly paddle out farther than we should. Whether He catches us before we set out, snatches us as the raft is about to tip, or pulls us up when we've already taken in 3 full gulps of water, the hope is the same. Catch me. We pray that the Father would help us to use the great wave of gifts He's given us. We don't want to be afraid of His world or its blessings, but we also pray that He would warn us so that we are not blind to the dangers that are there. As adventurous, thankful children, we're setting sail into the world with this call to our Father. If I go too far, if the sea is too rough, if there's something out there too big for me, catch me. In the Lord's Prayer, we're asking for God to put a limit on the worst that the tempter would do to us. Our prayer knows that God has power over Satan, that nothing happens outside of His own control. There's a central mystery to this prayer whereby God, who opposes Satan and evil and does not wish His children to fall, still allows us to live in a world filled with temptation. To our reason, this is a contradiction. We expect that God would simply crush Satan and all temptation. Instead, He allows temptation to come, though He is not the beginning of our temptation, but limits the nature of it. But in this mystery, we're not alone. The saints for all time can sympathetically say, "I understand," and then go on to tell a far more dramatic story than our own. They've seen the proof that God limits temptation and provides an escape. They are the heroes of the faith and the great cloud of witnesses that surrounds us. They would never say of our temptations, "Wow, that's a new one. Not sure how that's going to turn out." Instead, our prayer is that their experience will be ours. Our temptation is no different than theirs. With these saints in mind, our prayer is simple. Lord, lead us into temptation no greater than theirs. Lead us to an end no less than theirs. So, as God forgave and led the saints, may He do the same with us. Flood us with forgiveness, and yet keep us from being swept away. Send us to forgive others, and still don't send us too far from You. Forgive us so richly that we never doubt and never let us imagine that this forgiveness was easy or automatic. Forgive us in a washing flood, and yet don't let us forget the costly price of every drop. Forgive us and always catch us before we're swept away. Now, before you close with prayer and take off, pull out your planning guide and look at when you said you would read for session 4. Next week, you will be looking at chapters 7, 8, and 9. God bless your reading, and God bless your journey from heaven to earth to heaven again.